Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. I don't really know how this video is going to go other than I just really felt like having a little sit down chat about something that I just feel like I've been feeling for a while, and I feel like it's one of those areas that maybe a lot of us go through because I think it's really easy to, in this day and age, to feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, or like everybody around you is achieving so much more than you, is moving faster in life than you. And I basically wanted to make a video just to help, hopefully, not feel so much like that. Because yeah, I definitely have moments where I look around and think, am I doing enough? Am I achieving enough? You can look at social media and see people buying these great big houses, achieving loads of things, going on these amazing holidays, getting married. It knocks your confidence, doesn't it? Like, I have loads of those moments where you have a little bit of a wobble, and even though you know that everybody's lives and destinations are different, it doesn't always feel like that when you're scrolling through Instagram past 10 o'clock at night, just having little reminders of things that you might not have that you want. I feel like life sometimes makes you feel like you have this invisible checklist and you should be ticking off all those things, and if you haven't ticked off all those things by a certain point, then you're failing or you're behind. When I look back a few years ago and I look at like my confidence or what I felt like in life and comparison and all the rest of it, like I have come on miles, like leaps and bounds. So although I'm not completely there yet, I wanted to share some things with you that have helped me build myself up a little bit, helped me feel more capable, more confident, and most importantly, at peace in my own life. So yeah, this is just me sharing some things. Hopefully you'll find them helpful if you are going through those similar feelings. I think the first point to make is, like, if you have got those feelings, if you're feeling a bit inadequate or like you're behind, it's easy to sort of tell yourself that you're being ungrateful. It's okay to feel that way, and it is important to be honest about it and not feel bad for feeling those things. Like, I've had loads of times when you see friends getting married or engaged or moving into their dream houses, like especially times when I'm like going through a divorce, or like I haven't been anywhere for ages, thinking like you want to go out and travel, and then you're seeing people off on their holidays. You see it all the time, don't you? And it can really make you question yourself and think, am I doing something wrong? Why is everything like going so much slower for me? Why am I not experiencing these things? And I think it's impossible not to feel it when it is constantly shown to you on social media. There's a whole highlight reel of everybody living their best lives. You know, you can pick up your phone, you can see somebody with the most perfect kitchen, or a family jetting off on holiday, or somebody showing their engagement photo shoot, and like I can just be glad that I've got through the week and the kids haven't lost any school uniform, and I've managed to get a couple of YouTube videos out. What I have realised though, and I think it's really important to remember, is like, you are not the only one. I'm not the only one who feels that way. I feel like whenever I've spoke to anybody else on this subject, like so many people feel exactly the same. Even when you look at somebody that is in your opinion, like achieving so much and doing amazing things, they can still feel that way too. And it really doesn't matter or make a difference which stage in your life you're at. You could be in your 20s and feel like you should be further ahead in your career than you are. You could be in your 30s and feel behind in relationships or buying a house. Even people in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s often feel like they should have done more, could have done more. And I think when you realise that, it just makes you feel less on your own, because it's so common to feel that way. So what I tend to do now is, if I ever do get those feelings where I feel like I'm really behind, I make sure that I acknowledge it. I feel like it takes away a little bit of the guilt and the shame, and it makes me realise that it is just all part being a normal human being, and you know, it's not a personal failure. So I do feel like that is the first step, just to rebuilding your confidence. Just to, if you are feeling behind and like you should be further ahead than you are, then just letting yourself feel that and not telling yourself that you shouldn't feel that way, because it's totally normal. and it's okay. And do you know what? Confidence doesn't really come from those big life-changing moments. I think for me, it's like all the little tiny moments that have really helped to build up my confidence. Like it's all the tiny little things that we do day to day that add up. Like simple things like getting the kids to school on time every day, or cooking a proper meal, getting a decent amount of steps in. Those are the tiny things that, as daft as it sounds, or like as small as it sounds, like those are the little things that give you that little spark of pride. Every time that you follow through on something, like even the smallest task, every time you say you're going to do something and you do it, it is basically collecting proof that you can rely on yourself. There is so many things, like when I look back at how little confidence I had, especially when my marriage ended, I was a completely different person really. When I look at the things that I didn't think I was capable of doing, and we're talking like small things, like having to call anybody when things go wrong in the house, or even like things like going for a coffee on my own, you know, like things like that where you feel really like, oh, I don't want to do that. I am slowly trying to build up to being confident enough to do some like solo traveling. I think that would be amazing, but I also don't feel like I'm there yet where I would feel confident enough to do that. So baby steps, time on your own, like that is huge for helping you feel more confident. I would never, however many years ago, go and sit and have a coffee on my own. I'll be honest, like I was really quite a shy, timid person, no confidence. Don't even bat an eyelid going off and doing things by myself now. We just need to master like the solo travel. That is something that eventually we're going to build up to. Yeah, a lot of confidence comes from being competent, doesn't it? You learn to do those little things, to fix the little things around the house, to make the phone calls, to cook simple basic recipes. Every time you learn to do something like that and you achieve it, you are building evidence that you can do all these things by yourself. And yet for me, being competent in little areas of life is proof that I can figure things out. I don't need anybody else. Proof that I can learn, proof that I'm not stuck. And yet every little bit of that proof adds to self-confidence. I think a lot of the time we feel behind in life because we feel powerless. Like everybody else has got it figured out and we haven't. But when you choose one thing to work on and you see yourself improving, like saying as little as like going for a coffee by yourself, like spending time on your own, and you gradually just see yourself getting a little bit better at that, or cooking, starting basic recipes. If you start to see improvements, it definitely gives you that quiet confidence, you know, thinking, okay, maybe I don't have everything sorted, but I can get better at this one thing, and that is a way to keep moving. And it's just building on it, isn't it? It's just sort of building on all these little things that we can work on. And obviously I'm not saying that I get this right all the time when I talk about like, you know, all those things that add up to your confidence. It doesn't mean that you're going to have perfect weeks where you've said you're going to do things and you do it and that's all great and it just carries on like that. There is definitely weeks that aren't like that. There are weeks that the laundry basket is overflowing, that I forget a PE kit that needs washing, that we have takeaway a couple of times a week, or days when I've told myself that I'm going to be really productive and then I spend 3 hours scrolling social media and procrastinating. Like I fail at this constantly every week, but the difference is I try really hard not to feel really guilty about it. I just reset, move on, and I don't feel bad about it, and then just try and go for one small win the next day. My point is basically, if you are feeling behind, do not underestimate the tiny wins, because they really do add up and help to add to your confidence. Even if all you do today is make your bed or just tick like one thing off your to-do list, it is proof that you are moving forward, and all those little moments start to build up a vision of yourself that you will start to believe in and start to feel confident in. And as always, I always say about like any of these little tasks that we are doing to just help build our confidence, you can make them so much nicer by romanticizing them. I always talk about it, romanticize the little tasks. If you are doing some cleaning, put on the music, light your candles, making it feel more like a reset moment than a punishment cleaning the house. That gives me a lot of confidence as well, to be honest, just having that romanticized mindset, because romanticizing all the small stuff and all the boring stuff makes you much more likely to do it, and it will give you a nice confidence boost afterwards, after you've done things that you've said you want to do. And I think another area when it comes to being more confident that's so important is how you talk to yourself. Something that I'm working on, something that I'm trying to get better at all the time. I can be so harsh on myself, my own worst critic, like I say, with the thoughts of why am I not achieving more, why have I not managed to get that done, that constant feeling of you should be doing more. Like, that is something that I still need to do work on. And it's funny, isn't it, because it's that sort of thing that you would never in a million years say to a friend. Like, you would never be saying to them the things that you say to yourself. And it has taken me a while, but I am getting better at it, just to recognize how damaging that voice is in your head, the negative self-talk. I mean, it really is damaging for your confidence, isn't it? If you've got your little voice in your head just constantly telling you that you're not doing great and you should be doing more, you're never gonna feel particularly confident with that little voice in your head. So what I try and do is try and catch it when I am thinking very negatively about myself, or about anything really. I do try and stop myself and, you know, try and reframe it almost. But yeah, when I'm being like unnecessarily harsh on myself, I do try and think, nope, we're not doing that, and we'll figure it out. We're working on it. We're doing our best. And just trying to stop tearing myself down all the time. And I read about this so much, like the importance of positive thoughts. They directly shape how you feel, how you act, how you show up in life. Your brain believes repetition. So if you constantly think, I'm not good enough, I'm behind, your brain believes that. It treats that as a fact. But if you change those thoughts to like, I'm figuring it out, I'm trying my best, I am capable of achieving this, your brain will build confidence from those thoughts instead. Negative thoughts affect your behaviour as well. They can make you hesitate, avoid opportunities. If you don't think you're capable of something, then you're less likely to go for it, aren't you? Whereas positive thoughts make you much more likely to take action and to try something or to keep going. And also, when you do practice positive thinking, it helps to create momentum, and you notice only the progress then and not the problems, and that's the sort of thing that helps keep you motivated and carry on forward. If you're seeing the positives in everything, or trying your best to see the positives of everything, then you're more likely to continue to keep going and achieve what you want to achieve. Not only that, like, negative thoughts are so draining, aren't they? Like, they really suck the life out of you. You're around negative people for too long, it can really just drain your energy. And if that's all going on in your own head, that's exactly what's happening to you in your own company as well. So it really is so important to try and stop the negative thoughts in their track and switch them to something more positive. And it's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing thoughts that are actually helpful and that are going to help you keep moving forward. Another thing that definitely affects my confidence is how I show up physically day to day. And I only mean in little things. I don't mean in like some huge dramatic like makeover way, but definitely the way that I dress, the way I present myself. I definitely notice such a big difference in my confidence when I make a little bit of effort with myself. Even if I'm just at home, even if I'm just pottering about the house, if I put on like a nice loungewear set and I do my hair a little bit, put on a little bit of makeup, it definitely makes me feel so much more confident than the days, which I still have days of course, where I'm wearing like the bleach stained hoodie and scruffy joggers and my hair's greasy and I've got no makeup on. There's definitely days like that still, which are, you know, also needed. But for confidence boosting, there is definitely a big difference when I've made a little bit of effort. And it's definitely got nothing to do with impressing other people. And I'm obviously not saying that this is an everyday thing that you need to do, or that like I'm not saying if you don't have your makeup and hair done that you won't feel confident. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I notice a difference in my confidence when it comes to just how I feel in myself, how I carry myself, eye contact, all of that. If I'm feeling good in myself, it's basically telling myself that I'm worth it, I'm worth the effort, and yeah, I feel more confident. And that sort of just spills into all areas of your life. If you're feeling good in yourself, if you're feeling confident, then it has a ripple effect on all areas in your day. So yeah, for me, the outside really does affect the inside, and I don't mean in a superficial way, I really don't, but in a how I treat myself kind of way. Like I say, just making yourself feel like you're worth the effort, treating yourself nicely, just showing up for yourself like you matter, because you do. I also, obviously I mentioned about social media. We all know social media is like, it's such a, like, it's great. It is really great. I love social media sometimes, and other times, yeah, the comparison feeling with that, like I say, with all the things that I mentioned before, like, it's really, that's not a good time if you're feeling a little bit behind or anything. Social media is not the one, because we all know most people show their best bits. I'm guilty of it too. Like, you want to put the highlights, you want to put the good bits, and I love seeing that, don't get me wrong. I am not like looking at everybody's Instagram thinking, oh, look at you doing great things. Like, it's so nice seeing people's holidays, getting gorgeous ideas, outfit ideas, seeing people get engaged. Like, it's all so lovely. But if you're having moments where you're not feeling like, when you're not feeling like you're achieving what you want to be achieving, it's very healthy and a very good idea to limit your time on these apps, because you don't even have to really think about it, do you? Like, the comparison just happens straight away when you see some things on social media. So it's really a good idea to restrict your time. I've definitely, like, I spend so much less time on social media and I feel a lot better for it. Not only that, as social media shows me loads of negative things that I don't want to see as well. Like, there's no filter with Instagram, is there, or TikTok? Like, you could just be looking at a gorgeous, lovely recipe one minute and then something on the news that you think, oh, that's, you know, or some horrible news article, news story that you didn't really want to see. So I think it's very healthy for confidence and for just your own mental health to limit the amount of time that you spend on social media, or at least muting accounts that maybe you just feel like you just don't need to see right now. Not in a like negative, horrible way, but just thinking, actually, I just don't want to look at that right now, and making sure that you filter your social media to follow accounts that do inspire you or that help give confidence. You know, like, there's some brilliant accounts that just a real, like, little confident boost, like the quotes and things like that. I love a quote. And things that just feel a little bit more real and relatable and a little bit confidence boosting. I feel like that's a bit of a catch-22, you know, when if you're feeling a little bit down or lacking confidence, you can end up sitting scrolling and self-sabotaging, isn't it, really, where you just sit scrolling, doom scrolling, feeling worse, end up procrastinating, and it's just all a spiral of, like, just not helpful whatsoever. So I am trying to catch myself, put my phone down, do things like go and put the kettle on and sit and have a cup of coffee. 10 minutes of doing that, sitting quietly or reading a quick chapter of a book instead of sitting doom scrolling on social media. You just know that it's good for you. It's so much better to do that. And like I say, it's not something that I perfected. It's something that I'm working on, because it's so easy to fall down a little social media rabbit hole quite often. But I have noticed the lesser time that I spend on social media, or at least limiting what I don't need to see and focusing more on things that make me feel good and make me feel confident, like, the difference is a big one. So it is so important to look at that area of your life if you're wanting that confidence to increase. Another thing that has made a huge, massive difference to my confidence, that has improved it so much, is boundaries. Learning to protect my energy a bit more. I've gotten really good at this. I think a lot of us find it hard to say no, especially as women, as mums. We are used to stretching ourselves too thin. Every time I overcommit, I end up feeling stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, and feeling less confident because I feel like I can't keep up with everything that I've said yes to. Being able to say no to things is such a massive confidence boost. It makes you feel much more in control, more powerful and calmer. I think it's really important to have those boundaries with, like, what you say yes or no to. I think it's important to have boundaries with people. Learning to step back from people or situations that drain me has been so important for me. It's definitely not easy, don't get me wrong, if you're in a relationship or friendships that you know are not good for you or that drain you. I'm not saying it's easy, but I can say from experience, stepping away from friendships and relationships that have had that effect on me has brought so much peace to my life, and also the confidence to know that, like, I don't put up with certain behaviours anymore, and I'm really proud of myself for that. You know, picking peace over people pleasing just gives me so much confidence and strength. So boundaries with people is so important, because I mean, people are energy zappers as well, aren't they? Like, some people you could just be around and think, you're not making me feel good. We don't want that. Also, I think it's really important to have boundaries in your routine. So like for me, I need a good 10 minutes at least of quiet time in the morning. That is just for me. That is a morning ritual that definitely makes me feel like my day runs smoother. I notice on days that I don't have this, when I'm rushing around, that I don't have as good of a day. They're just like tiny boundaries that can really help. Or like switching your phone off by 9 p.m. or something like that. That is a great boundary. So yeah, I think protecting your energy, creating boundaries, whether that's with people, with your routine, what you say no to, is really important and is one of the best confidence builders, because it's showing you that your well-being matters and that you can trust yourself to look after it. And then the last point that I just want to make after this very rambly video that I really hope makes some sense, I've just gone off on all sorts, is, and it's probably no surprise because I'm using the word romanticize again, but it is just my favourite word, is the idea of romanticizing your own lane. You know, like I'm talking about the comparison, the looking at other people's lives, the feeling like you're behind, feeling like less than because you see other people doing so much. Anytime that happens, I think it's so important to really focus back on your own life and make it feel special in loads of little ways, and that way the comparison with other people's lives will fade. None of these things, when I talk about romanticising your life, it does not have to be big gestures. It can be as simple as buying yourself flowers once a month, having your cup of tea in a really pretty mug, putting some lovely music on whilst you're cooking. All those tiny little things that just make your life feel a bit of a nicer place to be. Because I do think that that is also an area really where confidence grows, not just from ticking all the same boxes that everybody else is ticking off, but from actually enjoying the life that you're in. Because if you're enjoying your little life, you're gonna not be concerned about what anybody else is doing or achieving in theirs. Because the truth is, the boxes never end, do they? That tick box of life. You hit one milestone and then there's another one. The better job, the bigger house, the next stage in life. And if you spend all your energy chasing the checklist, you're never gonna be truly happy, and you're never going to actually enjoy the moment that you're in. What is really important to remember, and something that I am reminding myself of, like I say all the time, is that your story is valuable as it is, even if it looks different to somebody else's, even if it's slower, if it's messier. When you can make ways of making your life feel more meaningful, that is when the comparison starts to lose its grip. Which is why I find romanticising your life so helpful and important. And it's definitely not about ignoring ambition or never wanting more, because you're completely entitled to want those things. We all have goals, but confidence comes when you stop believing that you're only worthy when you achieve those things. So yeah, there we go. There was my little chatty video that I just really felt like I had to sit down and film. I hope it was helpful. If you're feeling like you need a little bit of confidence, I hope this has helped a little bit. If you're feeling a bit behind in life, all those things, you're not on your own at all. I feel like that very, very often, but hopefully some of these little points might help a little bit. So yeah, I really appreciate you watching today's video. I would love for you to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and of course hit the subscribe button if you are not already, and also come back again for my next video. Take care everyone, bye!